What's up? Happy Wednesday. Welcome on into Let's Bet It. Lauren Jabbar here with Jared Smith. Jared, your Rangers lost again last night. Now the series is tied up at 2 apiece. We got game 3 of the NBA Finals today. The RBC Canadian Open going on right now. My dog is going crazy over here trying to go outside. Wow. It is a busy day today on a Wednesday.
Yeah, a lot going on. My dog is eating a bone over here. So I hope one of them doesn't bark because usually
my dog's a little more aggressive than yours right now. Look at him.
He's right. He's giving you he's literally giving you the puppy dog eyes. Literally.
He's trying to go outside.
Yeah, he wants to go outside. You might need to call Kara or Gare over there to go let out Kobe.
Oh, Kara's right here.
Oh,
Kara's
hi,
right
Kara.
here.
Oh, wow, is Kara? Wow, Kara's making an appearance on the show.
I know. She's trying to cover her face. She's like, don't put me in here right now.
Well, too late. Sorry, Kara. We're
having a full day today, guys. It's a full house here at the Jabara household.
Full send. Let's go.
It's a full day here at the Jabara household. And I'm really excited because we got a lot to talk about today. We got Better Up, some MLB talk because I have a few props today. I'm even betting in NRFI, stepping out of my comfort zone. We have the RBC Canadian Open with Diane Knox Balas. She's coming on the show today. We have the NBA Morning Radar, Brian Scalabrine coming on again today. NHL Ice Picks, recapping the game yesterday, not necessarily giving out our picks yet. We're giving out our picks tomorrow because obviously that game 5 is tomorrow back at MSG. And then we can't end without giving our Pickswise 3-star play of the day and our best bets of the day. So without further ado, my friend Gerard, let's get right into it. And let's bet it with some YRFIs and NRFIs. Yes, runs first inning, no runs first inning. Yesterday, the YRFIs were 9-7. Again for the season, the YRFIs 419 and 412. It's still about 50.4%. And the MLB run scoring average is now 29.06%. We do have some notable streaks. Minnesota, 8 straight YRFIs. Yes, runs first inning. Both teams scored in 4 straight. Cincinnati, 6 straight YRFIs, which no one is thinking Cincinnati is scoring. They scored in all 6. And then Kansas City, the Royals, 6 straight NRFIs. 9 games they've been scoreless in the first inning. Now, do you have any YRFIs or NRFIs today? You have 1 YRFI.
I do, and you mentioned that team that I'm going to be talking about today. It is fascinating now that the run scoring rate is up to over 29%. That's above what we've seen historically over the last 4 years, which is a flat 29. I know it's just barely above, but the run scoring rate has been steadily climbing over the last few weeks. Remember, we've been kind of bookmarking this. It's been in the 28% range for the last few weeks, and now it's eclipsed that 29% mark. That is important because once you get over 29%, then all of a sudden the NRFI actually in an average game in a vacuum should be the underdog or the slight favorite laying just a penny. So, you see some of these NRFIs like 30, 40, 50 cents for them. I know the pitching matchups matter and you have to take that into account, but the average should be about a coin flip now if it's at 29%. So don't pay a whole lot for these NRFIs unless you've got a really, really good reason to, because the average should be about even odds. That being said, I'm actually going to pay a few cents for a NRFI today, a little bit more, for a YRFI today, a little bit more than I paid in prior weeks. Couple reasons. 1, I like the matchup. 2, it's the only YRFI or NRFI on my card today. So I felt comfortable with laying a little bit more juice than I'm used to. So it is Arizona and Cincinnati today. The YRFI is -115 at BetMGM. Now, make sure you go to MGM to play this because at FanDuel, when I was looking at it this morning, it was almost -140. And when I see a big odds discrepancy like that between FanDuel, which what I believe is one of the sharper shops in town, compared to MGM, which is a little bit more of a square shop, I like to err on the side of the FanDuel sharper line being the true line. So at -115, I feel like we're getting a pretty decent discount here. And again, I love the matchup. Merrill Kelly has allowed a run in 6 of 11 starts this year, a 1.55 whip and a 5.05 FIP, whip and FIP, in the first inning this season. And we talked about Cincinnati. You mentioned it. They've scored in 6 consecutive games. They have the 9th highest first inning scoring rate in Major League Baseball. And of late, they're really swinging it well. The swinging Reds, the 4th highest WRC plus over the last week. Cincinnati, despite their bad
Wow.
record, is not as bad on paper as their record appears. On the other side, Arizona,
Because their record
a
ain't
below
great,
average.
Jared. Their record ain't
Yeah.
great.
Absolutely. Arizona, a below average scoring team. So I'm hoping Cincinnati holds up their end of the bargain. But Arizona's facing Mike Minor, who's making just his second start of the year. And in his first start, despite getting through it without a run, his FIP was over 6 in that inning. So again, Minor is a guy that I think is not an ace. Merrill Kelly is well below that. And we're paying just 15 cents for a YRFI in a hitter's park with a swinging Reds team that's red hot. I feel comfortable laying 15 cents with this one today.
Bunch. A Reds team that's red hot. See what you did there. I also
Oh,
am laying a couple pennies for my NRFI no run first inning. Well, a little bit more than a couple pennies. I am laying 12 cents for it at -112. Dodgers runs first inning. Now the Dodgers bats struggled a little bit yesterday. I think they're going to start out slow again today against Johnny Cueto. I don't even know if I said his name right, but Cueto. I love his stats. That he's been pitching great this year. He knows exactly how to pitch around this Dodgers lineup. He's seen them a couple times before, and he knows this lineup basically inside and out. Now Tyler Gonsolin is on the mound for LA. He's looking for his 7th straight win of the year. Gonsolin's 6-0 so far with a 1.59 ERA. He's absolutely phenomenal this season. He's just feeling it. His stuff is looking great. And I think he's going to be able to keep the Sox quiet in the first inning. Both pitchers are going to shut down the lineups early. No one is going to score in the first inning, and you're only laying 12 cents for it. So the Dodgers, White Sox, no runs first inning in the first inning. Well, obviously no runs first inning in the first inning. It wouldn't happen in the second inning. I just said that, and I'm like, Lore, what are we doing?
You talked yourself into a paper bag.
That's my NRFI for today. I know, seriously. You have a couple walk this way props, and I have a couple hitting props. So I'll let you go first with your walking this way.
We're walking forwards, we're walking backwards, and we're walking to Chicago tonight. You talked about Johnny Cueto. So his numbers are a little misleading, I would say, just because over the last few years, he's been a guy that's kind of been up and down. And his stuff is deteriorating at a rapid rate. And again, his numbers do look pretty good. He didn't walk a batter in his last start. Yeah, they do. But he's gone over this mark in 3 of his 4 starts. And again, he didn't walk a batter in his last start. I know because I bet the over 1.5 against Toronto, and he went under. But prior to that, again, he had gone over in all 3 of his prior starts. His first 3 starts with Chicago, it's been a new landing spot for Cueto this year. And it's really on the other side. It's this Dodgers lineup. And you mentioned they didn't score yesterday. And that leads me to believe that they're going to be a little more patient, a little different approach at the plate today. Yesterday, they were facing Michael Kopech, who is like the polar opposite of Johnny Cueto. Kopech throws at 1,000,000 miles an hour. Johnny Cueto likes the soft stuff. So I think it's going to be a bit of a different approach for the Dodgers today. And they have the highest walk rate in the league against righties. And they didn't walk a ton yesterday. And when you look at the bigger sample size, right-handed starters against the Dodgers have gone over this mark in 14 of 25 starts. So Cueto plus money over 1.5 walks today, I feel like is a fair price. I would probably pay even odds or even -105. I might even lay 10 cents. But once we get past that 10-cent mark, that's probably where I'd stop. The other one I really like, and we'll see what Scal says, but this one has POD potential, is Logan Gilbert over 1.5. I laid 15 cents over at DraftKings. So this is also kind of a buy low spot. He's gone under this in his last 2 starts, but prior to that, 6 consecutive starts over 1.5 walks. And he had a brilliant outing against Houston just 2 starts ago. I mentioned in his last 2 starts, he's gone over or under 1.5 walks. One of those starts was against the Astros, who he is going to face again tonight. 7 scoreless. This was at home. 7 scoreless, no walks, 5 strikeouts in that game. Now he goes on the road and faces this Houston lineup. I think the second time around in the last 10 days, I think Logan Gilbert will be a little bit more susceptible to either giving up walks or just giving up runs against this Astros team. And his walks per 9 jumps from 2.28 to 2.83 on the road. So that extra half a walk per 9, I think, gets us across the finish line here. And this Astros lineup's been incredibly patient. 4th highest walk rate over the last 7 days. 7th highest against righties overall this season. And when we look at that big sample size again, which I love to do, right-handed starters against the Astros over this number in 16 of the last 25 starts. That's a 64% hit rate. We're only paying 15 cents here. I'd probably pay 20 or 30 cents for this one as well. Logan Gilbert over 1.5 walks on the road tonight against the Astros.
I love it. And we'll get into your walk this way parlay in a second. But first, I want to talk about hits and runs and hits and runs and hits and runs. Bryce Harper, 2+ bases, and you're only laying 10 pennies for it. Now, he's the best player on the Phillies. It's going to continue to show. This guy's an absolute freaking stud. He has the team high 309 batting average. He has 57 hits on the season, and I think he's going to have a lot of chances at the plate today because he bats up in the lineup. He also has an outrageous on base percentage, and it makes it almost impossible to keep him off the bases. So I'm taking Bryce Harper to circle the bases against the Brewers. 2+ bases, and you're only laying 10 cents to do it. Now the other one, Aaron Judge, 1+ ribbies. I think he's going to want a good old steak tonight. Ribeyes, 1 RBI at +105. And you looked at his game yesterday. He's back in his usual form against the Twins. He has 22 home runs on the year. He had a home run yesterday. And it's just hard to fade him right now, right? He has notched a run batted in RBI in 6 of his last 8 games. And I just feel like the plus money looks good here. So 1 ribeye. He's a little hungry tonight at +105. I'm locking it in. Aaron Judge, baby. Those are my 2 hitting props going into today. What about your walk this way parlay?
Oh, you got juiced up for that one. All right. So the last time I was on the show and I gave this out, it hit. And so why not make it 2 in a row? +346 today for this baby. We've got Kikuchi over 1.5. We've got Anderson, your Braves boy, over 1.5. He's at the A's today. And we've got Josiah Gray, who's a walk machine, at over 1.5. Again, I'm not going to go too in depth with these handicaps. Basically, the theory behind it is they're juiced pretty high. Kikuchi's -150. Anderson's actually playable on its own at -135. But I still think that's a little high for me to bet a walk prop solo. And Gray at -185 as well. Way too high to bet that solo. But again, these tend to have a way of coming through. And the matchups are favorable, especially Kikuchi on the road today. And Anderson on the road today. I certainly think both of those guys will come home. Gray, I mean, he's basically walked 2 batters in almost every start this season. So I'd be shocked if that one doesn't come home. But yeah, +346. Not a bad price for a triple walk parlay. 3, I think, is the max that I'll go with these. Maybe we'll go 2 someday.
Yeah, I feel like 4 would be almost just too hard to hit. 4 is almost just too hard to hit.
3 is tough to begin with. Just winning 1 bet is hard enough, isn't it?
Yeah, seriously. God bless. I know. After watching that NHL game last night, I'm like, come on, guys. Come on. It's just tough sometimes. But you know what? You know who's been red hot and is going to bring us some more red hot picks heading into this weekend? Diane Knox Balas, as we take it from the park to the course, because we got a little golf talk going on. So let's bring in Diane to talk a little bit about the RBC Canadian Open in Canada. Cannot wait for that. Diane, how are you today?
I'm good. I was laughing, guys. I had your show on, and at the start when you were talking about your dogs, I got up to put on some lipstick, and my puppy jumped up on my chair and ate the pancakes that were sitting on my desk.
Oh!
Can you believe it?
Bowser? Was that Bowser?
Oh my God.
Barkley. It was the
Oh,
badly
of course, it
behaved
was the younger
puppy.
one. Of course it was the puppy.
Yeah.
Bad boy.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. That's so funny.
Guys,
well, hopefully you get another round of pancakes.
Yeah.
Yeah, you better go get in the kitchen. Go tell Garrett to get in the kitchen.
Well, I need them because I can't believe it's only Wednesday. This week has been the wildest week in golf that I think we've ever had. Like,
100%.
It has been insane.
And I'm sure you saw the news this morning too, right? You might have to take Patrick Reed off your card.
Well, can I just say, I did call it. I said, I was doing an interview with another media outlet yesterday, and I had said that I had heard that Patrick Reed and Bryson were about to sign.
Wow.
And then when I saw Patrick Reed withdraw from the Canadian Open, I'm like, oh, well, I mean, it's a dead cert.
Yep.
So there's a lot more, let me tell you that. I can't really name names, but I know for a fact that some other people have signed. Maybe if you look at the withdrawals again, there might be some hints there, but there's going to be a lot more announced for this Live Golf Series over the next couple of days, couple of weeks.
Yeah. So first off, let's start there before we talk about the RBC Canadian Open. What are your thoughts on the Live Golf Invitational Series and some of the big name players who have joined? And you just said more players you think are going to be leaving the PGA Tour for it. Just your thoughts overall on the Live Golf Invitational Series.
I think the biggest takeaway is that the past couple of days have really changed the golf space. And I think we're always going to look back on these few days as being like the week that golf changed forever. And I know that sounds quite dramatic, but you have Dustin Johnson, Louis Oosthuizen, Phil Mickelson. Well, I mean, he hasn't announced his resignation from the PGA Tour, but we've had 6 guys that have come out and said that they've resigned from the PGA Tour. And then, of course, we have, as you said, Pat and Bryson DeChambeau, more to follow. But it's we knew that there were going to be repercussions, obviously, if they played in the Live Golf Series. The PGA Tour never said what, so we don't know if it's obviously suspension or bans or fines. But by these guys resigning, they think they're kind of getting around that a little bit. The money is at the root of all of this. I mean, let's be real. And I wish that more of the guys would come out and say it, because the figures that are being thrown around are ridiculous. And I'm excited to watch the product. I mean, the tournament starts tomorrow. It's a 3-day tournament, first one being in London. I'm excited to see it, to see what's going to happen. But I don't know, like long term as a business model, if you're throwing all this money into something and you're not making that money back, how is that sustainable? You know, so I don't know. It's very, very interesting to me. And I'm, you know, as a golf fan, I want to see it and see how it's going to pan out.
It's so funny because the way you described that is exactly the issues that they're having in the overall gambling space right now, which is sportsbooks just throwing money into the activation of all these states, promotions, free bets. And now it's been a few years of that, and we've had a few big states come online, and everything I'm hearing on the investor side is all the stock prices for these sportsbooks are plummeting because they're not making money. They're just giving it away.
Yeah.
And you're right. Long term, that probably will be an issue, but that's a future LIV golf problem, not a present one. And the present, I'll be honest, Diane, and I'll play. And I know you're this. I'm guessing you probably disagree with this take, but I think this is actually good for the game of golf. I think this draws a lot of attention to the game that the average golfer might not have paid attention to. And when you're throwing around these ridiculous sums of money, these tournaments are going to be incredibly intense. And the format of them, the head-to-head and the matchup, I think it's going to make for great TV. And I think the ratings are going to be high. I think people are going to bet on it. And I think long-term, it might actually end up being a positive thing for golf. Maybe call me crazy. Feel free to rebuke that.
Okay, well, I hear what you're saying partly. But going back to the audiences, I mean, right now they don't have any TV deals. It's going to be streamed on YouTube, on Facebook, and on their website. So I don't think they're going to get the numbers that are going to be groundbreaking for their launch. Entertaining, yeah, it's entertaining right now because there's a lot of hype and what if around it. But am I really going to switch off the PGA Tour when I can see the best players in the world? Because let's be real, the best players in the world are still there. And watch Ian Poulter and Lee Westwood and Richard Bland and be excited about that. Like, the answer is no. I'll be excited about watching Phil. And
what if it's Bryson against Dustin, though? Like, that, I'm in for that.
Yeah, but you have to remember as well, Bryson's game is not anything right now. I mean, he's coming back from injury. He had a terrible week at Memorial. So, I don't know. The problem for the PGA Tour will be if one of the big superstar names goes and joins Live Golf soon.
Yeah, and I think the jury is still out on that too, because clearly there are some other big names that have joined. It'll be fascinating. I don't think it's the end of the PGA Tour. That's not what I'm saying. But I definitely think this product has a chance to be successful if it's done right. And we'll see if it's done right. We'll see.
Yeah. I'm intrigued.
Well, let's talk about it's like anything new is shiny and exciting, and we'll see how it plays out. But I want to talk about the PGA Tour. So what can you tell us about St. George Golf Course and Country Club, and what should we know about this course heading into this weekend?
That's the thing. We can't take the shine away from the RBC Canadian Open because
No.
it's a big event for them this year. We've had cancellations
Yeah.
the last 2 years because of the pandemic, so it's exciting. And the course is amazing. St. George's Golf and Country Club is constantly rated as one of the best courses in Canada, if not the best. It last hosted this tournament in 2010, but we've had a lot of changes and renovations in 2014. So the course that we saw in 2010, it's not going to be exactly the same. But the fans are going to love it. We've got a lot of Canadians in the field this week. No Canadian has won their National Open since 1958. But I definitely am looking at them this week. I know, but a really short course. So it's worth that, just over 7,000 yards. So, one of the shortest courses that we see the guys play. And it's wide fairways, but the rough is very penal, especially around the greens, which is kind of setting the guys up for the US Open next week. And a lot of bunkers around the greens as well. So I feel like my story has been the approach shot for the past few weeks, but definitely continuing on that theme this week.
Yeah, it's funny because I was going back and looking at some course comparisons because, again, we haven't seen this course for a long time, if really ever. So there's not a lot of history on it. And it's kind of funny because we picked Corey Connors during Wells Fargo, which was at TPC Potomac. And when I read your course description about TPC Potomac, focus on accuracy, premium iron play, small greens, short course, it sounds very similar. So I like the comparison of having Connors on your card this week. And I think it's fascinating to see the comparisons between this course and Potomac, which he didn't play well there. But I think if the shoe fits, and I think this game certainly fits, this course certainly fits his game.
And last week at Memorial, he finished in a tie for 13th, but he gained over 8 strokes on the field in approach play. So, I mean, he was first in approach. And we know that Connors is just an amazing player. He's going to be the highest ranked Canadian in the field this week. So I guess all eyes on him. But tee to green, such a strength of his game. He's got an incredible swing. It's the putter that's been letting him down time and time again. But he's going to be a real fan favorite this week. And Canadians are so passionate about their golf. As I say, they haven't had their National Open for the last 2 years. So maybe we'll see a new gear from Connors on the greens this week. But at 22-1, I thought those odds were really good for him.
Yeah, a couple other guys that you have to win. Rory, 10-1, and Brendan Todd at 100-1 odds. Tell us a little bit more about why you like 100-1 odd guy.
Okay, well, Rory, I mean, I just love Rory for this week. He's defending champion.
We all do.
Yeah, it's hard not to. And, I was just like, hey, listen, he's one of the favorites, but I've got to put him in there. Because I looked at scoring average on short courses. And even though Rory's one of the longest hitters we see, he's got the best scoring average on shorter courses. So I'm like, okay, great. When he won the Canadian Open last time, he shot 61 in the final round to win. So, we all know what Rory's capable of. But Brendan Todd, if you're looking for a straight hitter who can putt, then he is your guy. I'm looking at his stats right here. He is 5th in driving accuracy and 6th in putting on the whole PGA Tour, which is just incredible. And he's playing good, finished 3rd at the Charles Schwab Challenge at Colonial just a couple of weeks ago. Again, short course specialist. He's won at Mayakoba in Mexico, which is another one of these shorter courses. He won there in 2019. But Brendan Todd has some fire in him right now. And we've just seen, a real upturn in his game. But you can't overlook those stats on a course like this. Someone who hits it that well off the tee and is putting so great. So 100-1, I loved Brendan Todd.
My true nerd's going to come out here, but I don't know if you ever saw Mystery Science Theater 3000. It was this old show on Comedy Central. One of the famous lines was, "Never trust a man with 2 first names."
Yeah,
that's how I feel. That's how I feel about Brendan Todd. No, I'm just kidding. That's totally going off the beaten path here. All right, I'm gonna give you a guy. I'm gonna give you a guy that I like, and I'm curious your thoughts on this person. And it's in the rundown, so you might already know it's coming. Speaking of the Canadian theme, Mackenzie Hughes. I feel like I need to bet on Mackenzie Hughes this week, and here's why. First of all, he's Canadian. We love that. He's in the Canadian Open. He's got the home cooking. He's from Ontario. He recently qualified for the US Open, which I think is a boost for him coming into this week. He's going to be feeling good about himself. We're playing in the US Open next week. We're trying to gear up for it. Maybe that distracts him a little bit, but I still feel the positive vibes around Mackenzie Hughes. But here was the real reason that I want to bet on this guy this week. And this goes right up your alley, Diane. I know you're going to love this nugget. His caddy is Jace Walker, who won an amateur event at this course in 2009 and played on the Canadian Tour for several years. Mackenzie Hughes, top 5, 14-1 at DraftKings. It's 7-1 at FanDuel. I love the price discrepancy there. Tell me why Mackenzie Hughes will be in the top 5 this week.
I think you just took care of it. That was a fantastic nugget of research with his caddy. Well done. Yeah, Mackenzie Hughes he's having a good season. He's been in contention a lot. It's interesting you mentioned the US Open qualifier because that was Monday. It's the longest day in golf when these guys play 36 holes all across the country to qualify for the US Open. So, and if you're going to go down that route, then you have to look at Brian Stewart. I don't know what his odds are. He must be about 200-1 this week, I'm going to guess. But Brian Stewart, there's a running joke that he makes the US Open through this qualifier at Springfield in Ohio every year. And he did it again. I think he finished second. And he played this course for the RBC Canadian Open in 2010. So, as I said, even though it's going to be a little bit different with the renovations, he's going to be familiar here. So that's another one just throwing out. But if you're talking about top 5s and you're talking about Canadians, can I just say that my top 5 prop bet has cashed out 3 weeks in a row with Max Homa finishing 5 at Memorial.
Cash.
Let's go.
So I'm going with Adam Hadwin for a top 5 at plus 750.
Another Canadian.
So another Canadian. 3 top 10 career finishes in the Canadian Open, 6th place in 2010, and 4 top 10s this season. So he's having a really good season and really good around the green, kind of scrambling. So Adam Hadwin, he's going to be my top 5 prop bet.
Love it.
At plus 750.
And you also have a top 10 finish as well.
I really looked at the short course scoring average this week and guys that do play well on these shorter courses, and CT Pan won the RBC's other sponsored event, RBC Heritage at Harbour Town Golf Links in 2019. So for a top 10 he's plus 650. But I mean the great thing about him is this whole season, including the fall swing last year, he's making cuts. He's only missed 3 cuts this whole season, 5 top 16 finishes. So his game is in a good place, and if he plays better on these shorter courses, then this is playing right into his hands this week. So I really liked him. Top 10 at plus 650.
Love it.
Diane Knox Balas, we love it. 3 straight wins with top 5 finishers. She has Adam Hadwin finishing in the top 5 at plus 750.
I'll be on it. I'll be tailing it. You bet your ass I'm tailing it.
I'll be tailing it.
You bet
too,
Bowser's
Let's
pancakes that I'm tailing it.
I know. Go get yourself some new pancakes. Come on now. Have a great weekend, Diane. We'll talk to you next week. Thank you so much.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
Great job, Diane.
Bye. All right, from the course to the court. We're playing basketball.
Ooh.
We love that.
Wow, look at Scout with the glasses.
Look at
tired, man.
Who is this guy with the
He
glasses?
muted himself.
The finals are wearing me out. That's the deal. I can take
They're wearing you out.
Oh my
you
God.
get an eye strain from staring at the screen. You're looking at your FanDuel app too much. Too many bets. Your eyes are getting.
Yeah. So it's finals have been good. Miss talking to you guys. What's up?
Appreciate you, bro.
I know. Well, I want to start this out by saying, I just want to ask how many games you think the series is going to go, because right now 6 games is the favorite at plus 135, 7 games at plus 140. Do you think we're going to see a 6-7 game series here?
It keeps going back to the Celtics. Like I know a lot of people nationally, they're like, they just ride the Steph Curry's the greatest thing ever, which he is. I'm a big fan, huge fan. But like the Celtics are better. But they have their moments, and they had their moment in game 1 and game 2 in the third quarter twice. Then they had their moment in the fourth quarter. Like this, the Celtics are a little bit of a roller coaster. So it'll be. I think the strongest bet is Celtics in 6. I don't know if the Celtics will win 7, but the Celtics are the better team. So it's just a matter of, can they put it together? My guess is which will probably be one of my best bets of the day, is Celtics win today and they cover today. And Golden State Warriors have to go back to try to figure this thing out. But if this thing, tonight's the night. Like, if you believe, I think Celtics should win this series. The numbers don't, the series number doesn't reflect that. But in my mind, if you think like how I think, today is the day to bet it, because the numbers won't be as, they're very favorable right now. Almost, I think, minus 110 for the Celtics to win. You should probably jump all over that if you think the way that I think.
Yeah. Jared, what was that stat again that you saw? How many times in a row over the last 65 times or something when the spread is under 6? Tell us that stat again.
Scal, some of these trends of in the finals, especially we've talked about it in this postseason. If the team that wins the game has covered now 24 consecutive times, but let's look at just the finals specifically. When the spread is less than 6, in most of the finals games, the spread is 6 or less. The team that has won the game has covered 64 times with one push. So 64-0-1 since 2014. It's insane. So what that tells me is if Boston wins tonight, they're going to cover. And not only that, they're 26-11 after a loss this year. And if you shorten the sample size, 12-1 straight up after a loss since February 1st, 11-2 against the spread, 6-0 straight up against the spread and straight up against the number in the postseason. After a loss, they just win games. Is that because of the coaching, Scal?
I mean, it's not that. It's just like attention to detail, edge, how you start the game. A lot of people think the NBA is a fourth quarter league. A lot of times it's how you start, the edge. Like, how about game 2, Draymond Green, first possession, jump ball, physical. Like, you have to have a certain mindset, and it's just human nature. I always say this about NBA players, like people, it's hard for people to understand this, but NBA players do the best with their back against the wall. They struggle with success. It's like the noise coming in, how great you guys are. So it just seems like, and in my experience with athletes, like when you win, it's like complacency sets in, and unless you're like maniacal, like Michael Jordan, Tom Brady, like type of guys, it feels like you kind of let go of the rope a little bit, and the margin for error in the NBA is so small that that's enough for you to lose a game.
Yeah, you mentioned Draymond Green, and I'm actually on his under rebound prop today. I want to get your thoughts on it. So it's set at 7.5 right now. You're laying 30 cents for it, so it's a little bit juiced. But I mean, I just look at him in game 2, right? He was pivotal. He threw blocks. He tried to pull down Jaylen Brown's shorts at one point. He had 7 dimes, 1 turnover, but he only had 5 rebounds last game, and he's only surpassed 7.5 rebounds 1 time over the last 6 games. He has fewer than 8 boards in 12 of 18 playoff games. And I think with Kevon Looney logging so many minutes and fighting on the glass, fading 7.5 for Draymond seems like a good spot here. What do you think?
So I think a lot of that has to do with the Celtics and the turnovers. Like, the Celtics aren't never going to shoot a high percentage, but if they're kicking that ball and turning it over, then he won't hit that number. I think the Celtics take care of the ball. Now, here's the issue. Draymond is involved in every coverage. Tatum has the ball, he's downhill, ready to, like, in the drop coverage. They swing it to Brown, he's in that. So when you have that responsibility, it's also very hard to go and rebound the ball. So I'll say I'll fade it. I'm with you. So you're about 7 rebounds. Yeah, I think that's a solid number. It's just because he has so much defensive responsibility with this team, with the guys that the Warriors have out there. Like, Iguodala is not who he used to be. You still got to cover for Steph Curry. They play Jordan Poole, which I'm not sure they will or won't. You got to cover for him. Klay Thompson's not. So Draymond has the most defensive responsibility of anybody in the series, and it's also very difficult to do that and rebound the ball. So I like your bet.
Fascinating stuff. I think with Boston overall tonight, like, it comes to a point in the postseason, Scal, where I don't even consider betting props on the role players. It is a crapshoot every single night with which role player is going to step up. At home, you would think Boston's role players might be a little bit more of a better bet. But if we're focusing on the props market tonight, we should focus squarely on Tatum and Brown for the Celtics and squarely on Steph Curry for the Warriors. Is there another player that maybe we should be focusing on in the props market tonight that isn't one of the obvious stars?
You know, you're my brother from another mother, but I've never disagreed with somebody as much as I disagree with you right now. I swear, like, you really think about it, the way I look at the game is this. You're focusing on the stars, right? And I understand, like, everyone does that. But the Warriors are going to do whatever it takes to stop the stars, which means the role players are going to be the ones that have to play well. And the Celtics are going to do what they have to do to stop Steph Curry. So therefore, I look at it like the reason why the role players will play great is because like the focus from the defense is going to be on the stars. If the Warriors decide, if Draymond Green is so good of a defender, if he decides that Jason Tatum is going to have an off night, he's that good to make Jason Tatum have an off night. So see, even the phone doesn't like you right now.
The phone didn't like that pick either. Someone's watching the show and called in and said, that idiot got to shut up.
All right. I am focused solely on the role players. Only the role players today. That's what because the crapshoot.
My dog is barking. My dog agrees.
Everyone hates my pick.
Everybody is like going hard at your head right now.
Let's go. Bring it. I'm going to take the charge.
If Draymond Green says, I am not letting Tatum go off. Do you think that Jason Tatum has control over that? Draymond Green, one of the best defensive players of our generation. The guy who's going to go off is the guy that Draymond Green has to let go to stop Jason Tatum or Jaylen Brown. I'm playing the role player. And the same thing with the Boston Celtics. I really, you know what? I got to reevaluate my life. Me and you were besties. We were gambling, betting besties.
Now, don't go that far.
I'm putting you on the do not answer list. You are do not answer number 32. I was at 31. Now you're at 32.
Damn, that's harsh,
bro. I'm actually curious who else is on that list.
Me
Scout,
too.
To be honest with you, 31.
You know, like, hey, Scal, I got a business proposition for you. Do not answer 27.
I would
hey,
never.
Scal, you want to
invest in this real estate? Bud. That's what I do. I just feed you winners.
Okay, you talk about the role players. I'm looking at our Google sheet. You have quite a few prop bets that you're going through. And then I want to ask you about a couple prop bets that I have. But go through your slate and who you like going into tonight's game.
Kevon Looney, 6.5 points, over.
Wow.
Okay.
That's not a guy I would have expected.
The Celtics leave him wide open underneath the basket to stop Steph Curry.
Yeah, they do.
Even I could catch and finish right now.
Even I could.
Put him in, coach. He's ready. He's ready to play.
Al Horford, I'm going plus 8.5 and plus 1.5 threes.
I like that.
I can make 2 threes if they leave me wide open. And the last one, my favorite. The guy who I deemed unplayable, as the rest of the world looks at me with that side eye, like, Scal, are you doing a hot take right now? Jordan Poole is unplayable in this series. Do not tell me, like, I hate it. You were gassing up Jordan Poole yesterday when he had that big third and fourth quarter. Listen, I coach AAU, and there's something called a ceiling and a floor, right? And the parents love the ceiling of their favorite player, their kid. And when we play against a team and we beat by 50 and their kid has 18 points, they love to tell me how good their kid is. That game was out of reach. Good job by Jordan Poole with the knockout punch. But they were up by 17. He makes a 3. Then he pushed it up to 23. Then he had his fourth quarter where he got it going. I am taking the under on Jordan Poole's assist. It is 2.5 because Jordan Poole is going to be limited in playing time. And when scorers are limited in playing time, they do not pass the ball. Jordan Poole might not make 3 passes, not even for assist, the entire night. Under on Jordan Poole assist.
Why you got Michigan man dirty like that, Scal? Come on now.
Oh, man, here we go with the Michigan stuff.
No,
he hasn't been at Michigan in like 3 years, right?
I'm a Jordan Poole fan. A fanboy of Jordan Poole. And I told the world he's going to have a breakout season. I interviewed him. I was buying it, and he's a good player. just not against the Celtics. And it's no disrespect to
Yeah.
my man. The whole Warrior staff knows it. Everybody knows it, and he knows it. This is a tough series for Jordan Poole. Under on his assist, 2.5.
So let's put up a little.
Do you know who I'm in favor of? Oh, do you want to do Red Hot Chili Poppers,
No,
Jared?
I want to hear. I
was going to do a same game parlay with all his picks.
Ooh, let's do it.
I just have to find out if they have Poole's over under for assists, which I don't think they do. That's a shame. That's a shame. They don't have Poole's over under for assists, but they might have it on a different book. It'll just take me a second.
DraftKings listens to what I have to say because everything
I
listen
say, to all these shows, dude.
Yeah, because this DraftKings take, it was on there yesterday, and I was like, it was neon, it was blinking, it was so bright to me. Now they took that sucker off.
I know.
So let's do.
I want to talk about a 2.5 prop. So you talked about Jordan Poole under 2.5 assists. I like Marcus Smart under 2.5 turnovers. And I don't know how you feel about this, but game 1, 18 points, 1 turnover. Game 2, 2 points, 5 turnovers. I'm expecting a steadier performance from this guy tonight. He's gone under 2.5 turnovers, 7 of his last 8 games before Sunday. And I'm just banking for Marcus to play a little, Scal, you ready for this one? Smarter. I'm betting on the under 2.5 turnovers in this game. How do you feel about it? I feel like he's just going to protect the ball a little bit more.
Co-sign that. I'm expecting good night from the Celtics. I do think the best bet of the night is taking the Celtics to cover. I really believe that. So and not a lot of that has to do with their turnovers. All the talk about the turnovers. When they're at their best, they make simple plays. Those simple plays pay off. Marcus Smart's a big catalyst to that. I'll co-sign that. Basically, not having 3 turnovers, co-signing that for sure.
He's agreeing with both my props so far. I'm loving it. Can I give you one more that I like for tonight?
Is it a role player or a star?
Derek White over 11.5 role player, 8 cents for it. The Warriors have been really good at home. On the road, they're vulnerable, and they finished last game with 12 points, cash on the over. He's gone over 11.5 points, Scal, in 5 of his last 6 games, and he's averaging 15 points in 30.7 minutes. The one game that he went under, he only played 19 points in that game. So if he's getting the minutes, he's going over his 11.5 point total. And I think he is the Celtics' most important backup during the postseason. They need him on the floor as a ball handler to break down Warriors defense. I like the over. Do you like the over too, or kind of on the other side of that one?
I will.
Oh, no.
If I had to guess on Derek White, like you're gonna sweat this one out, but I think he'll score somewhere around like 9 to 13 points. So I think you're going to be in the ballpark because he's a ball mover, and it's always when the Celtics are moving the ball at their best, he's either cashing in or he's like the catalyst of that. Like it comes to him, he's a quick decision maker. So like here's my guess is don't play my bet of Al Horford and Derek White. Just pick one. And either one guy is or the other guy is, and whatever you feel it's going to happen. That's how I would bet it. So yeah, I mean, both those guys. It would be odd for both those guys to be over that number the way I feel like the Celtics are going to play today.
Yeah, so I'm looking at the same game parlay right now. How about this? Jordan Poole under 2.5 assists, Al Horford over 1.5 threes, Looney over 6.5 points, plus 550. I know I didn't put Horford in there, but Horford, if he goes over 1.5 threes, he's going to go over points, and it doesn't move the odds enough to, make it worth our while to put a 4th leg. So I guess that's the better question. Of those two, Horford threes over the points, because 2 threes is still only 6 points. So that to me, that maybe is the better of the two, or do you like the Horford just straight up points better?
So you're saying if you add in both of them, won't make a difference.
It only moves it to 6-1. So it's not, I don't want to do a 4th leg just for an extra 50 cents because those 2 legs are so correlated. So you choose either points or threes and you pick that one.
I mean, if that's the case, then I guess I would take the poinit's at that point.
So then if that's the case, then
it could be one of those games where they switch Steph Curry onto him and he punishes him in the post. So it's a good point. If he makes 2 threes, he's going over 8.5.
Exactly. So if that's
he can go over the point and not hit the threes, it's not going to happen the other way around.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty much the same price if you just swap out threes for points. So it's about 5-6-1 on that same game parlay.
Yeah,
pretty good
points. All right, are we doing the Red Hot Chili Poppers? proppers?
Let's do it, baby.
Yeah, let's do the Red Hot
Wrap it
Chili
up.
Proppers, baby. We got a couple of them for you. Okay, over under 18.5 points for Klay Thompson. Is Klay going to show up?
So I know he's going to have a night. I don't know when it's going to happen. I'm actually thinking it's going to be game 4. I think game 4, Klay Thompson's going to have a night. I'll take the under on 3, and then I'm going to put my Ford Raptor on the over in game 4.
My Ford Raptor. At least it's not the
That's
Toronto
a big
Raptors.
gamble, Scal.
It is a big
Nah,
gamble.
with gas prices
Okay.
right now, it's really not.
Actually, seriously though, God bless these gas prices. Okay, over under 6.5 rebounds for Jason Tatum.
I will. Let me play this out in my head real quick. Jason Tatum will be guarding, moving. I'll take the over on that. Bigs will be
Over.
more on the
Okay.
perimeter. Like Grant Williams will be out on Steph Curry sometimes. Jason Tatum will be by the basket. That's an over. Take an over on that.
Like it. And the next one was over under 1.5 3-points for Al Horford, but we all know how you feel about this one. You're taking the over on that.
Over
Who's
on
going to
that.
have more assists? Steph Curry or Marcus Smart? More assists.
Ooh.
I don't think I'll go Marcus Smart. The Celtics have more shot makers than the Warriors do.
Yeah.
I will worry a little bit Steph Curry to Kevon Looney. That's a little bit of a worry to me. But I'm like Lauren, I'm right where you're at with Marcus Smart. Like the way that you see the game unfolding is exactly where I feel. This is the smart Marcus Smart, the controlled Marcus Smart. I have my finger on the pulse Marcus Smart. So when he's like that,
Okay.
like it all kind of works. I wouldn't necessarily take the points on Marcus Smart today, but I have the Marcus Smart dominating the game, Marcus Smart.
I like it.
Is there like
that's a very fair take.
Draymond Green gets ejected? Draymond Green gets a tech in the first quarter? Like those are real things that we should be talking about.
I agree. I think I've seen the tech prop before, but not anywhere that we're allowed to legally bet on it here in the States. So we can't really talk about it.
Yeah. All right.
We have one more for you before we let you go.
Oh man, it sounds like
Someone in the
this is gonna
chat
be
asked about Al Horford over under 8.5 rebounds. How are you feeling
that's
about
high.
him on the boards?
I have to pick, or can I just pass?
That seems really
You
high.
can pass.
8.5.
Yeah,
I'll just pass. Like I don't want to tell people I have to I don't want to make, because that Al could have 14 or 4. You know,
Yeah.
There's nothing strategy wise that makes me think that Al Horford's going to be like gobbling up rebounds, but he could totally have 14 rebounds in a game. So the way that I see it, I don't know what's going to happen with Al Horford on the rebounds. Let's just say that.
It's funny you say 14 because his postseason high is 14. He did it twice against the Heat, but he also had a 3 against Miami. And his 2 games in this series, he's combined for 14 in 2 games, 6 and 8. So that 8.5 seems very high for him. I would not bet the over there.
There's also this, now this is why I wouldn't bet a Grant Williams, because that man's a roller coaster of a ride. But Rob might not play today, so that's why when you said Jason Tatum, I said,
Good
okay,
point.
so Celtics are going to switch all 5. But they play differently with Rob out of the game than when he's in the game. Al Horford on the perimeter, Jason Tatum gobbling up rebounds by the basket. If Rob Williams doesn't play, which you never know with the guy, like if he is or if he does, how much he plays. So if you're asking me about, just put your money more towards Tatum. That's a better chance of Tatum doing it than Al Horford.
Yeah,
I like
that makes sense. I'm so excited for game 3 tonight. See the Celtics show up and show out. You're going to obviously be there at the game, so I want to hear about the atmosphere there. NBA Finals, game 3, back in the Garden. I'm so excited.
Wait, hold on. We need
your
your picks. So let me go like that. All right, Jared, who's your pick?
Who's Jared's or mine?
Who's my pick? I'm betting the
Who's your
Celtics. Celtics.
Celtics. Lauren,
Celtics.
where's your pick?
Taking the
I have the
Celtics.
Celtics tonight too.
The Celtics are
Celtics
6-0
Back
straight
at
up
home.
and against the spread in the postseason after a loss. And how about this? I'll even give you an extra nugget for you to take with you. You can use this nugget on your show tonight, Scal. Here you go. After a double-digit loss, the Celtics are 4-0 straight up against the spread, and their average win margin is over 16 points per game. There you go.
Yeah, so that's – can I just ask before I go? I don't know if you guys are up against it real quick.
Yeah,
like, what is the biggest margin I could bet the Celtics and get like the most amount of money? Like,
I'll tell you right
let's
now.
say I think the Celtics are going to win by 25. Is there like a
bet
Celtics by 20 bet out there that I can get like
100%.
10,000 to 1?
Let me find the bands. It's called bands
10,000 to
1.
1.
Margin. It's in margin. Here you go. Celtics by 11 plus is plus 280.
Oh, that's not worth it.
No.
Do you have more?
Celtics,
Can we go up higher than that?
Celtics by 31 plus is 50 to 1. You want to go really high?
50 to 1. If I bet 100,
you make $5 grand.
30. What about 20? What about 20? I want 20.
Well, you can only do the band. Oh, yeah, hold on. Winning margin, 10 points. Let me see if I can do this. Yeah, it only lets you do. Oh, wait, hold on. I might be able to move the line accordingly. Yeah. Hold on. I just need to get to
now
the
we're back.
But
we're back to being
you
friends
can
again.
bet an
We're
alternate
back, baby.
spread.
We're back.
You can bet an alternate spread. Here we go. I found it. Just give me 1 second. Celtics minus 19.5 is plus 920. 10 to 1.
All right. I might be on that. I might be toying around.
Celtics laying 19 and a hook. Give it to Scal at 920.
Yeah.
Let's go, baby.
That's not a best bet or anything like that, but that's just the feeling that I have how this thing is going to unfold a little bit. Like, this is a Warrior, like, kicking the can down the road. Game 4 will be amazing. Could be a Klay Thompson game, but I like the Celtics with a big number today.
Love it.
All right.
I love it. Scal, you're going to be back on Friday to break down Game 3, talk about Game 4. We'll see you then. Best of luck to your Celtics tonight. The playoff atmosphere at the Garden.
All right. See you guys.
See ya. Peace. Brian
Tremendous
Scalabrine.
stuff.
I don't know if you heard my dog barking in the background, but he apparently
everyone's
really likes the Celtics winning by 19.5 too at this point. So who knows? We're about to get into our best bets of the day. But before we do, just a quick chat about NHL yesterday. Obviously, the Lightning came out and they looked like the Lightning team that we all expected them to be. Vasilevsky looked more solid, stopped 33 of 34 shots. And the Rangers just looked a step slow the whole time. I mean, you can't rely on Shesterkin to win every single game for you. He allowed 3 goals on 29 shots. The Rangers were outshot 6-1 through the first like 6 minutes of the third period. You're down 2-0. You got to come out that third period and just freaking go for it. And they didn't. And the Rangers are without Ryan Strome. He was on the latch. They missed him. Philip Chittle suffered an upper body injury. He's going to be out too. And the Lightning were just in complete control of that game, Jared, from puck drop to the end of the game. Now it's basically a best 2 of 3 series. Rangers are going to have the home ice advantage, but it's going to be interesting to see which Rangers team we're going to be seeing and which Lightning team that we're going to be seeing. We're going to be breaking down that game tomorrow.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting one. Obviously, no Rado tonight. That series is over, so we've got to wait an extra day. I would just continue to bet Shesterkin and Vasilevsky in the futures market for the Conn Smythe. That's the way that I would play it. We bet a little bit of Shesterkin last night. I might take another piece of him tomorrow night. Rangers, again, not very respected in this odds market. Underdogs at home. So you want to say Tampa's supposed to win because they're favorites on the road. I certainly get that, but the Rangers have been really good at home this postseason. So you're going to have to make a pretty compelling argument to get me to not bet the Rangers at home tomorrow night. But we'll cross that bridge.
They say series doesn't start, Jared, until the road team wins. And we've seen home teams
that means the series
dominate
hasn't started yet.
So far. Yep, series hasn't started yet. Now it's the best 2 of 3 to finish it out. We'll see who takes home that Eastern Conference final trophy and moves on to the Stanley Cup final against the Colorado Avalanche. And I'm sure they're going to be watching that game extremely closely too. Okay, before we get into our best bets of the day, Pickswise.com. Who is the 3-star play of the day? Who do we got?
Kyle Lupus. Shout out Kyle. 3-star on the Rockies Giants total. And of course, Diane has her 3-star for the golf tournament this week as well, which she just outlined in great detail. But you can read more about it over at Pickswise.com.
Pickswise.com. Okay, our best bets of the day. You go first with yours because I'm kind of going off of Scal and what he said for mine, tailing one of my bets that I liked.
Yeah, and again, I think when you listen to what Scal says, and we've trusted him, he's been pretty money for us in the postseason, and I'm not going to go away from it now. And then when you look at the numbers of what the Celtics have done after a loss, I think that's really where I hammer this home as a play of the day. The Celtics to lay 3.5 points at home. Boston 26-11 after a loss this season, 6-0 straight up and against the number in the playoffs. And when you shorten that sample size to after a double-digit loss, 4-0 with that average margin of victory coming plus 16 points. So they are blowing teams out after losses in this postseason, and they are blowing teams out after they get blown out themselves. And that's the vibe I have on this game tonight. I agree with everything Scal says in terms of the I mean, he didn't agree with my Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown takes, but I think those two guys are going to have pretty decent games because they both played well in both games of the series in Golden State. And I know Jason Tatum didn't shoot it well in game 1, but he still had 11 assists, and he still ran the offense well enough for them to win that game. He shot it better in game 2. The rest of the team did not. I think they will be better at home. The role players will play better at home. I know you're isolating one of the role players tonight, if you want to call Marcus Smart that, but he's still not Tatum or Brown. But I think the supporting cast for Boston will be much better tonight. And I love the trend coming after a loss, teams bouncing back, and then the cherry on top. Goodness gracious, when teams win in the NBA Finals and the spread is shorter than 6, they are going to cover. That's what the numbers say. So we're not going to buck that trend tonight. If the Celtics win and don't cover, then so be it. We will tip our cap to the trend gods. But everything is telling us that if Boston wins the game tonight, they're going to cover the spread. So we'll give you the pod. Celtics laying 3 in the hook in game 3.
And Scal would even push that with the alternate spread to the Celtics laying 19.
You're feeling frisky.
Basically 10-1 odds. So something to look at because Scal says goes. Okay. My thing is Marcus Smart under 2.5 turnovers. Game 1, he had 18 points, 1 turnover. He was phenomenal. Game 2, 2 points with 5. And a lot of those were live ball turnovers that they need to clean up here and come game 3. And I think that he's going to at home in front of a home crowd, knowing he needs to play. Just expecting a little bit of a steadier performance from him tonight. He's gone under 2.5 turnovers in 7 of his last 8 games before Sunday. So I'm banking on Marcus to play a little smarter. I'm betting the under 2.5 turnovers. I know. I love my little puns.
Over 1.5
today,
on
guys.
that
Find us
reference
the
in the show.
I know. I love it. I was under 2.5. Yeah, under 2.5. Smart.
He stayed under 2.5 for that reference, and he'll stay under 2.5 turnovers tonight.
Yeah. On that note, we're leaving. The long show today, but you love to see it. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Let's bet it. Let's get it. Best of luck with your bets tonight. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace.